Fun. Fun in Glasgow, Glasgow in Glasgow. Glasgow in fun. Fun in Glasgow, fun in Glasgow, Glasgow. Glasgow in Glasgow, Glasgow in fun. Fun in Glasgow, fun in Glasgow, Glasgow. Glasgow in Glasgow, fun in Glasgow. Fun in Glasgow, Glasgow. Glasgow in fun. Fun? Fun in Glasgow. Fun in Glasgow.
I'm sorry, I don't understand what you're saying.
Fun? Fun in Glasgow. Glasgow.
So basically what we've got here is one model, everyone's got the price, but this is not how the price is. What you've got to do, you got to take for one of these two, and he'll take for the other one. If it's outside either of them, he's gonna shoot you with this, and this is your one, and this is his.
No, I still don't know what you're trying to tell me.
Fun in Glasgow! Glasgow? Fun in Glasgow. Glasgow fun. And now, you are required to take a tablet from one of these two containers. One of the containers contains poison tablets. The other does not. Fun McGlasgow shall take a tablet from the other container. If you do not take a tablet from either container, Fun McGlasgow shall shoot you with this gun. And now, I shall do this. That is all.
I'll take the gun.
Fun! So, how do you know that the gun was the only safe option? That sounds a bit counterintuitive.
Oh, please, I know a real gun when I see one. His so-called gun was just a bottle opener. In the end, it didn't matter which was the poison and which wasn't, although incidentally, they were both poisonous. Bit of a waste of my time. I need something really interesting to do. There are never any good mysteries these days.
Well, what about this then? Jewel robbery. Apparently the jewels were being taken from the airport to the vault in an armed van disguised as a bakery van, when another bakery van stops them, saying they're carrying out an inspection. But it turns out it's an armed gang, and they steal all the jewels. That sounds right up your street.
Sounds tedious. I think I'd be less bored reading your blog.
Oh, you've seen the blog.
Well, of course I've seen it. Not exactly what I describe as high-class literature, but I suppose it's something for you to do. I, on the other hand, prefer to put my creative talents toward my violin.
You do know that's not a violin, don't you? That's a banjo.
Indeed, as you specified on your blog, does it really matter?
No, I suppose not. Anyway, we're out of bread. I'm going down to the baker's. Are you wanting anything?
Could you get me a steak slice? I don't think I've eaten today. My brain needs energy.
Okay.
Brain.
A batch of your finest pies, please! Very good, sir! You're lucky, these are the last ones I have! I'll have to get some more ordered in. Be sure you do, I love pies! Oh, afternoon. Hi. Hello. Is that you, Watson? Needing more bread again? Yes, we seem to be going through it at quite a rate. Sherlock seems to be in one of his mass bread-eating phases again. Oh my. You won't believe what happened, Sherlock. The baker's dead.
Did you get the bread?
The bread? Sherlock, our baker died. Do you expect me to have bread with me?
I'll take that as a no then.
Sherlock, are you not getting this? Our baker is dead.
So you've said. Anyway, while you've been out enjoying yourself, I've been doing a bit of research on the internet.
Into the diamonds?
Diamonds? Of course not, I've been researching myself. Turns out I have a fan base thanks to your little blog. Come look at this.
Hello guys, and welcome to another Jacob Universe news report. I know what you're thinking, why is he wearing that hat? But would you believe this is a hat just like the one that Shirley Holmes wears in, you know, the famous detective you've all read about in the blog? Basically, right, I was in Butte recently, right, in Scotland. And on the island there's a building called the Pavilion, right? And I noticed, right, with my eyes, it looks a little bit like the place where the Piers Theatre was from the famous case that we all read about on John Watson's blog. And firstly, all those pictures he put up of various things he saw on his cases, why would he have put those pictures up unless he was wanting to tell us that there's another case on the way? He's told us about the old cases, which means there must be another case coming. You see, it all makes sense, doesn't it? John Watson, of course, he's friends with Greg Lepad and Flanderson, right? So these guys, they all know there's a big announcement coming, right? They all know it's on its way, and we know it's on its way too. Because how could it not be? That all these clues that they've left us, like when Watson said, hey guys, there's not a new mystery at the moment, sorry. I mean, why would he say that unless there actually was a new mystery on its way? I mean, it doesn't make sense, does it? It gets you wondering. And of course, perhaps there's another announcement about the new... Anyway, the reason I mention this, I'm going to Butte, right? I was in Recepsi, and do you know what? I saw this place, this Pavilion place, and it looked just like the Piers Theatre from the last case. And do you know what? They're renovating it out right now. I couldn't go in because it was being renovated, but I thought, well, why is that? Maybe it's because they're going to make a second mystery in the Piers Theatre, or they found the original copy of when they, you know, the blog from the first time he went there, because I bet you don't know this, you see. I took the opportunity to find this out. He typed it up, and he lost the original file, and he had to type it up the second time. And I think, why are they redecorating this old pavilion that looks like the Piers Theatre? Is it because they found the original footage of the original the text that he wrote up that very first day, back when it all went down, back when it all started, if you like. The first original version of the first draft of the original copy of his story that he wrote about his experiences in the Piers Theatre, the hardwood sweeping brush. Just, it makes you think, doesn't it? And I also, here's an unrelated story.
Wow, that's slightly scary.
It is a bit. Oh well, since you haven't got the bread and you obviously haven't brought me my steak slice, I'll see if Mrs. Hudson will make some tea and sandwiches. Mrs. Hudson?
Now, Sherlock, I'm your landlady, not your ass keeper!
I can't believe we have to go all the way to this bakery while the other one's closed. It's a disgrace having to come all this way just to get my pies.
Well, to be fair, it is just next door.
That's true. I didn't realize there was more than one baker in Baker Street.
Now, Dr. Watson, I'm afraid you'll have to come back in an hour. We won't have your bread ready until then. Here's your steak slice, though.
Thanks. I'll pop back after lunch.
Yeah, now a little to the left. Little more. Little more. No, it's too far.
Hello, Lestrade. Are you investigating the baker's death?
Oh, John. No, Anderson is, but I wanted to keep an eye on him in case he does something stupid. Last week, right, he let a burglar go because he put a bag on his head.
The burglar put a bag on Anderson's head.
No, Anderson put a bag on the burglar's head. The man's an idiot.
Ah, you just can't get the staff these days, eh? Ooh, better get this to Sherlock. He'll be wanting it before it gets cold. Mr. Jones, I've come from a loaf. Mr. Jones? Mr. Jones, hello? Oh my word, he's dead! Sherlock, you will not believe what's happened.
The second baker is dead.
How did you know?
Well, it's on the news, look.
Wow, that was fast.
There is, as yet, no definite connection between the deaths of the two bakers, but the police believe the fact that they were both bakers working in the same street and were murdered just one day apart must be deemed as suspicious. We asked the customers what their views were.
That's a disgrace! I have to go even further to get my pies! I need my pies! Pies are my favourite!
Well, fortunately for this irate patron, there is a third bakery in Baker Street, so we won't have to go all that much further for his bakery goods.
I'll admit, I'm a little bit worried.
And now, with the weather, here's Carol.
Oh, this is getting boring. Oh, and John, I have a bone to pick with you.
Oh?
Yes, that steak slice you brought me was cold.
Well, I can't go to the bakery next door since the baker's dead, and the one I went to today will be closed too now, so your steak slice will be even colder tomorrow.
What?
Well, I do have further to walk back with it now that I'm going to a different bakery.
No, that simply will not do. I'm going to get to the bottom of this case in the name of hot steak slices.
Questionable motivation, but okay.
Anderson, what are you doing here?
I'm solving the mystery of the dead bakers. I'm really super smart, clever at this sort of thing. I even found a clue that no one else would have spotted.
And what might that be?
Large volumes of suspicious white powder found at both bakeries. I think I might be on the cusp of cracking a huge drug-fueled crime ring killing spree.
That's flour, you moron. It is the main ingredient in everything bakeries make.
You're a fine one to criticize me, Sherlock Holmes. I heard that you don't even know the difference between a violin and a banjo.
Shut up, Anderson.
Sherlock! Oh, I haven't seen you for ages.
Ah, yes, I've been busy.
Come round and take a look, have you? Certainly an interesting case. I had no idea there were so many bakeries in Baker Street. 12 of them! Real baker's dozen, eh?
A baker's dozen's 13.
Yeah, I know that, but the joke wouldn't have worked for 13. And there aren't 13 bakers.
Anyway, I'm not here to observe, I'm here to take over the case.
But this is Anderson's case. I'm going to designate this piece of bread as being significantly more suspicious than this piece. Oh, alright, we're never going to get anywhere with Anderson in charge. You get started, I'll tell him.
He's not going to be happy about that.
Good.
Anderson, you can go home now, giving your case to Sherlock. How foul! You can't do that. Sherlock's an idiot. He doesn't even know the difference, right, between a banjo and a violin. Shut up, Anderson.
I'm going to take a look around the first bakery. Is the body still there?
Yeah, the morgue's on strike, so we haven't had anywhere else to take him.
Lestrade, what was your opinion on how the first baker died?
When the lights went out, he tripped over a wet floor sign. Mustn't have been able to see it in the dark.
Well, I have some news for you. The lights going out didn't make any difference. That baker was blind.
Blind?
Yes, blind. All around the bakery there are scuff marks at floor level, obviously from his white stick. There are also hand marks along the wall from where he felt his way along. He has the hair of a Labrador on his trouser leg. He must have a guide dog, probably getting hungry by now. Someone should probably find it and feed it. Finally, there is no light switch to the back entrance where he went in every morning. There is, however, one by the main door to the shop, which is where his assistant went in the mornings. So he's no more likely to trip over a sign when the lights were off than he was when they were on. Therefore, the lights were turned off so no one would see when the murderer bludgeoned the baker to death. Have you found a cause of death for the second baker yet, Lestrade?
It's strange. There's not an injury on him, but he seems to have been asphyxiated.
So he was suffocated, but not by strangling. And there was no struggle. Interesting.
Maybe it was autoerotic asphyxiation.
Now shut up, Anderson! I thought I told you to go home!
Blue. Blue. Just before he died, the baker became uncomfortably hot.
Hot?
Yes, John, hot as in not cold. So hot that the baker's hands were sweating enough to make the dye in the plastic bag run. He tried to turn down the heat on the radiator, but that didn't work, because the heat wasn't coming from the radiator. Now, where does the air for the air conditioning come from?
There's a vent just behind the back door.
Ah. What's in the building behind?
Some sort of oil refinery, I think. No, you know what it is? It's a carbon monoxide factory.
And that vent at the back must have been pumping out unwanted fumes, hot gas, most probably carbon monoxide. All the killer would have to do would be to attach a pipe from one vent to the other, pump the bakery full of carbon monoxide, kill the baker without ever having to step foot inside. Clever! Anderson, I see you're still here. Make yourself useful and go get the pipe from the alleyway. It'll be behind the bins, probably rubber. We might be able to get some fingerprints from it.
I can do that task sitting on my head.
Shut up, Anderson. Now, Lestrade, I'm starting to see a bit of a pattern emerging here. I think it would be prudent to keep an eye on the other bakers.
You think they might be in danger?
Some of them, perhaps. But I think it's entirely possible that one of the other bakers is behind all this. You should try and make sure none of them leave the country.
I think if I were a baker, I'd feel like escaping the country.
I found the pipe, and I found another clue too.
What is it this time? Yeast?
No, pies!
How are you this stupid and still able to feed yourself? There are pies because, and I want you to pay very close attention to this bit, we are in a bakery.
Ah, but these pies were behind the bin with the rubber pipe, and they all had a bite taken out of them, and some of them were from the other bakery.
Hold on, the first baker? But he ran out of pies. I remember him saying so.
Of course he had. Haven't you noticed? This baker's out of pies too. Not a single pie. Why didn't I see it before? I know exactly who the murderer is. And the motive. John, I want you to wait in the third bakery until you get the signal.
What's the signal?
The signal is the third baker being murdered. Lestrade, come with me. I think there's someone who needs to hear from us.
What can I do?
You can stand outside in the road and see how many pigeons you can count.
Yippee!
Are you going to be sitting there for long? For your sake, let's hope so.
Do you have any pies left?
Just the one. I'll need to be ordering in some new ingredients.
I'll take it!
No one bites the crust. Did you get the signal, John?
Yes, the baker's dead.
Good, good. John, may I introduce you to Fernando Diamante? He was until very recently the owner of a quite sizable collection of diamonds.
The ones I read about in the papers.
The very same. Now, who has the pie? Oh yes, I do, okay. Your diamonds, Mr. Diamante.
What? I don't understand.
It's simple, really. Will you tell him or shall I? Okay, well, as you remember, the diamonds were taken away in a bakery van. The crime had in fact been carried out by a carefully constructed gang, put together in such a way that no one knew the identity of any other member. A bakery van had been supplied by one of the members, meaning that one of the members was a baker. After the crime had been carried out, the driver managed to escape with the diamonds, leaving the other benefactors with nothing. But our friend the Bode here had managed to cling to two very important facts. One, they had hidden the diamonds inside a pie. Two, the side of the van, as you will see, clearly reads, the finest baker in Baker Street. So, all the Bode had to do was visit each bakery in turn, buy every pie, then kill the baker to make sure they didn't make any more pies, just to avoid any future confusion. You could have saved yourself a lot of bother if you just looked at the bags. This is the only bakery to mention the name of the street in the bag.
You think you're so smart, but you didn't get everything right!
What? What did I get wrong?
I wasn't a member of the original gang! I was employed to do this by a man named Mark!
I hate it when that happens.
When the murderer is killed before being brought to justice.
No.
When the real mastermind goes free because the henchman was assassinated.
No.
When you bite into a pie and chip your tooth because it's full of diamonds.
Anderson, are you trying to eat the diamond pie? Put it down, you imbecile! And no, I mean, I hate it when I solve the mystery, but there's just that little bit I missed. Completely undermines the whole thing. Anyway. Steak slice? Steak slice? Come on, let's go home.
Do you think whoever was behind all that will be annoyed about you finding the diamonds?
I don't know. I don't really care. As long as they don't kill any more of our bakers. If I have to start going around the corner for my steak slice, I won't be happy at all.